All right, all right, all right. Good morning, everybody. Bitcoin Brandon here with news of the day. We'll get started in just 1 second. All right, let's see. Who do we have? We've got Raymar, Wisdom, Sean Berry, Mafus, Ellie, Ingrid, Bethany, Darnell, Fernando, Terry, Mr. Ross, Mafus, Rashawn, Deborah. Good morning, Darnell. Kamal, Prelvis, Mr. Gardner, Mr. White, Erica, Lashana, Mr. Gibson. All right, as a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be dispensing financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed decision on which direction you want to go on. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space. Rule number 1, education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What vehicle are you willing to use to make it happen? Be passionate about it. Stay focused. Don't get distracted. Good morning, Kamal, Jason, David Gibson. All right. Yes, I'm stuck on West Coast beats lately. I go through these phases. Every month it's a different. Last month it was all about the East Coast. Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, etc. Now I'm back on the West Coast. Then I got to go to the South. Outcast. No Limit. All right, so let's see a couple of articles here I want to cover first. Let's see. Whoa, this popped up. The greatest rappers of all time. Ranked number 1 is Eminem. It's hard for me to argue against that. Tupac number 2. Biggie number 3. I'll argue against that one. Anyways, let's see here. We've got the NASDAQ CEO says that ICOs are taking advantage of retail investors. I don't know if I want to use that frame, because what you're saying is that retail investors aren't smart enough to be able to see what's right and what's wrong. Like we need Big Brother to tell us what to do. But in part of that is actually true. The fact that the average person is one of my biggest concerns about the crypto space. Yeah, there's no barrier to entry, which means everybody has an equal opportunity. But let's be honest, there's some people out there that have no business being in this space whatsoever. Do they have the opportunity and option? Yes. Do they have the discipline necessary? No. I think that there should be some form of barrier, that you've got to go through some form of education before you can come into this space for your own safety. But that's not how it is. So let's see what she says about the ICOs taking advantage of everybody. All right, here. Investment into the budding cryptocurrency industry through ICOs has already brought in around $5.5 billion this year, and has almost surpassed the ICO investment throughout the whole of 2017. Retail investors have been responsible for the majority of it, as an ever-increasing number of them are scouting the ICO lists and trying to discover the next big thing in the crypto sphere. You know what? That's almost a loaded term there. Retail investors. What does that mean? Who's a retail investor? Somebody that's not part of Wall Street? Someone that's not part of the elite? Someone that only has a certain amount of money in their bank account? Retail investors? Think about what retail means. You're buying things and, go to the store and you're buying something off the shelf, as opposed to a wholesale where you're buying in bulk. That's a loaded term there if you look through it. However, Adena Friedman, the CEO of global stock exchange operator NASDAQ, warned potential investors that crypto entrepreneurs are taking advantage of them. Speaking at the Future on FinTech conference held in New York, Friedman said, the reasons behind this are lack of accessible information, as well as absence of universal regulation and transparency. I partly agree with that. I just don't like that statement. You're basically saying it ain't going to work unless we're controlling it some kind of way. But I do believe there needs to be some form of regulation, because 92% of all these ICOs will not last within a year. That is true. Ms. Friedman criticized ICO aficionados, saying that to make it no rules at all, when companies can just willy-nilly take people's money and offer no information at all with no governments, that sounds to me like you're taking advantage of people. Well, people are giving them their money. No, they're not forcing anybody to hand over your money. Is that taking advantage of them? According to the NASDAQ chief, inexperienced investors are usually the ones falling prey to the hype surrounding crypto projects. I agree with that. While IPOs, the equivalent of ICOs in traditional investing, are subject to lengthy disclosure requirements by the SEC, the ICO process is still barely regulated, which is a big concern of Ms. Friedman. I agree with that. I don't have anything against that. She went on to claim that in ICO space, none of that is available and it's all being bought by retail. I have a real concern on lack of transparency, oversight, and accountability that these companies have as they're going to raise capital through an ICO. While being critical on ICOs, Friedman remains positive on virtual currencies, as she has recently claimed cryptocurrencies are the right next step in the development of currency. All right, stop right there. That's further proof. The way we live is rapidly changing. That there's a next step to the development of currency, and it's cryptocurrency. She has also previously claimed that NASDAQ will be open to launching a crypto exchange. That is big news. At some point in the future. Although the crypto market would have to be far more mature than it is now. Give it maybe 2 years. And when that happens, game over. You will never see Bitcoin anywhere close to being below $10,000, let alone $20,000. NASDAQ opens up their own crypto exchange, it's game over. The crypto world has been at odds over the last few weeks as the debate whether digital assets should be considered as securities have been widely publicized. While the two biggest cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, have been officially declared not to be securities, the jury is still out for the rest of the virtual currencies and ICOs. No, it's not. They've been very clear. All ICOs they consider as security. And any virtual currency where you are buying the coin and the company or whatever is doing something where investments so that you can get a return on your coin is a security. I mean, it's not rocket science. They clearly laid it out. Friedman concluded by agreeing with the SEC, saying that I sympathize with SEC saying these are really securities offerings. I support the SEC on that. And I agree. It is. That part of it does need to be regulated, the ICOs. You can't have 92% of every single one of them come out, fails within a year, and most of them fail because they're scams, not because their business model just didn't work. They were scams. Only 8% survive. So you have to be an expert to weave through all of that. See, from my own experience, most of the people I know, I can't say all, because I can't, tell you what their intent is. But most of the people I know are not investing in ICOs because they think it's going to become the next Amazon. They're looking at how fast can I get a return on my investment within the next 3 to 6 months. Longest, maybe 8 months to a year. And then sell. I mean, that's the behavior. Ain't nobody trying to be like, oh, I hope it's here for 5 years. No. I put 20,000 down. I want to make 200,000 in the 6 months. That's what they're doing. That's why I say I always question educators and colleges that's doing study reports on algorithms. You're not studying the behavior of people and the intent of people. That is what's the most important. All right, next up, another CEO, Goldman Sachs CEO. This is huge news here. Another proof of what I've been saying. It's arrogant to think cryptocurrency won't be successful. Really. So when your broke cousin Pookie's running his mouth saying that it ain't gonna work because he knows a friend who lost all his money, you gonna listen to him, or you gonna listen to this Goldman Sachs CEO? Lloyd Blankfein, the CEO of Goldman Sachs, one of the biggest investment banks in the global finance sector, valued at $87 billion, has criticized skeptics that believe Bitcoin and cryptocurrency do not have a future. Warren Buffett. Since early 2017, Blankfein has stated that he is not yet convinced the cryptocurrency market has become a major asset class, but he has frequently emphasized that investors must consider cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin as an emerging asset class and acknowledge the potential of the cryptocurrency and blockchain sector. At the Economic Club of New York conference, Blankfein said, "If you go through that fiat currency where they say this is worth what it's worth because the government, says it is, why couldn't you have a consensus currency?" I agree with that. Previously, during an interview with CNBC, Kayla Tosh, Blankfein echoed a similar sentiment regarding Bitcoin, describing a period in the U.S. history during which the U.S. government abruptly abolished the gold standard and replaced it with a currency with no value, the U.S. dollar. At the time, U.S.-based businesses, individuals, and investors had difficulty accepting and embracing the U.S. dollar, a form of paper money, as an alternative to gold, which had been the standard of money for centuries. Similar to how paper money was forced to become the natural progression from gold, Blankfein explained that Bitcoin could one day become the natural progression from fiat money to digital money. And thus, although he does not fully understand cryptocurrency, and I respect him for saying that, and it is not convinced that Bitcoin will soon become a reserve currency, and I actually agree with that. I don't think it will be Bitcoin. Blankfein said he is open-minded about the cryptocurrency market as an emerging asset class. I agree with that. A $5 gold coin was worth $5 because it had $5 worth of gold in it. Then they issued paper money that is backed by gold in the treasury. Then one day they issue paper money that does not have the backing of gold. You gotta, I don't have time to do that, but I'll just ask the question. You gotta go back and ask why. How much gold is actually in Fort Knox right now? Is there any gold actually still in Fort Knox? Why did they do that? Why did they remove gold and bring it out of circulation as far as currency? And who controls it? Who owns it? And they gave us paper money. I mean, think about that. That's like going to the grocery store, right? And you've got some real food that you've always been eating all the time. And they say, you know what? Give us back that real food and we're going to give you this plastic food that is kind of like real food. But we own the real food now and you've got the plastic food that's not worth nothing. Here's what I used to do. I'm the oldest grandchild, right, in my generation, and I have a huge family. I was the first. My little cousins, you know what I used to do to them, because really didn't know any better. Let's say they had a quarter, right, and I had 10 pennies, and I'd be like, because the ice cream truck would be coming down in Compton, California. We were all kids, right? And I'd be like, hey, I'll give you these 10 coins for your 1 coin. Okay. And they give me their quarter, and I give them 10 pennies. Because back in those days, I could buy like a 50-50 bar or a push-up bar for like 25 cents. And they go up there with 10 pennies, and they couldn't get nothing. Because in their mind, they got 10 pennies. But it's 10 coins. They didn't understand the value. Well, they pulled that okie doke on the American people. Yeah, give us all your gold, and we're going to give you paper money. And we said, okay. And it's been so bad. Even my brother, when I was explaining to my brother about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, he said, what's cryptocurrency? What is that, kryptonite? And then he said, why would anybody use this? I mean, what is it backed by? See, the dollar's backed by gold. And I'm like, Devin, really? You were born in 1978. You have multiple college degrees and you own your own business, and you say money is backed by gold. It hasn't been backed by gold since 1971, 7 years before you were born. And if my brother didn't have a full understanding of the history of money, what do you think the average people out there? You think they have any understanding of money? Where it came from, how it works, the real purpose of it? Absolutely not, because our schools don't teach that. The wealthy teach it to their children. They pass it down. Some of the best libraries in the world are in people's houses. Rich people's houses. Anyways, I'm getting off track here. All right. Earlier this week, for the first time in the bank's history, Goldman Sachs Chief Operating Officer David Solomon confirmed the rumors that Goldman Sachs has been working to establish a cryptocurrency trading desk beyond futures. Apart from clearing Bitcoin futures, Solomon said that the bank has been very cautiously testing cryptocurrency trading and launching a proper cryptocurrency trading desk for its clients in the near future. He said, we are listening to our clients and trying to help our clients as they're exploring those things too, said Solomon. All right, that's 2 articles of 2 different CEOs. One, the CEO of NASDAQ, who said, oh yeah, we're going to have a crypto trading soon. And then you got the CEO of Goldman Sachs saying the same doggone thing. Do you think if you are interested in wealth creation that you might want to pay attention to what they're saying and get yourself prepared? I mean, think about that. Or are you going to listen to everybody else that you know that don't know nothing about this, that think it's a scam? Watch who you are listening to. Next article up. Did I just... Okay, I'm good. I just deleted an article I wanted to read, but I was going to say that for later. This one I want to delete. All right, top 5 blockchain use cases you need to know. Okay, we say the blockchain is going to disrupt the entire planet. Here's 5 of them that you need to know. Blockchain technology is not only impacting the financial world, but several other industries too. It has become the solution to several real issues that the world is facing. The blockchain use cases have shown that a system can be trusted and transparent without being interfered. If you run a company with issues of legality or supply chain, blockchain has an answer. Here are 5 financial and non-financial blockchain use cases which will prep you for what solutions blockchain is capable of. First up, The insurance industry. Pay attention to these guys, because when people start asking you questions about Bitcoin and why you believe in it and how you understand the technology, you'll be able to pull this stuff out. Yeah, it's going to interrupt the insurance industry. How? Well, a smart contract is defined as a digital legal binding document which helps secure relationships between buyers and sellers or any two parties. That is a definition you might want to memorize. I'll say it one more time. A smart contract is defined as a digital legal binding document which helps secure relationships between buyers and sellers or any two parties. Sometimes the legalities can get very confusing, leading to mistrust, high costs, and delays in processing between two parties. One example of where smart contracts are beneficial is in the insurance industry. Insurance policies tend to take weeks and months for full payment to the insurance holder. The reasons are mostly due to the manual processing and comprehensive documentation involved. Costs, too, tend to become high due to the substantial administrative costs. However, thanks to smart contracts, insurance policies have become automated. Conditions and terms are input into the smart contract, and whenever they are triggered, the claims are processed immediately. All the conditions, for example, the weather in case of a natural disaster, are tracked using blockchain. The payments are almost immediate with much lower administrative costs, which can be the saving grace of a person's life during natural calamities. I don't remember the details, but I remember Kathy Keene talking about what she had to go through when the Sonoma fires, California fires last year, when her house burned down and they had to do their insurance claims. Imagine that in blockchain. Here's number 2. International trade. Geopolitics. Globalization has helped the world we live in by buying products which we usually don't grow or manufacture in our home country. I just had a thought. I'm going to create a lesson out of this, and it's going to be in cryptogenics, because this is important stuff here. A short, quick lesson on this. Globalization has helped the world we live in by buying products which we usually don't grow or manufacture in our home country. However, globalization has increased tremendously over the years, leading to frauds, human errors in the documentation, delays, and unnecessary costs. Blockchain's technology, which is based on an open distributed ledger that records transactions between two parties managed by a peer-to-peer network, can facilitate document handling in international trade. In this scenario, 2 smart contracts are actively involved in helping draft contract between the buyer exporter and seller importer, whereby both the buyers and sellers fulfill specifically agreed clauses. This trust is built upon even if the two parties don't know each other well. The need for mediators cuts down drastically, and hence costs fall. Blockchain helps the whole communication make more sense and be in real time, leading to an efficient international trading process. The single blockchain has the necessary information in one document, which updates and verified by all members of the transaction. Hence, no unnecessary blocking of funds as capital is transferred quickly. The first commercial trade finance transaction was done between HSBC and Dutch lender ING. A bulk shipment of soybeans was shipped from Argentina to Malaysia, and using blockchain made the process of the letter of credit much faster and efficient. The exchange was said to be done within 24 hours, compared to the usual 5 to 10 days. Think about that. The shipment and the exchange was done in 24 hours. What business would say no to that? You want to wait 10 days to get paid? Or how about 24 hours? What about payments? The payments industry. Blockchain's most popular byproduct is cryptocurrencies. Legal in some countries, not legal in a few, and still pending on a proper decision by many, cryptocurrencies has become the talk of all the towns. What cannot be denied is the speed of transacting cryptocurrencies between two different people's wallets. It is as quick as lightning. It is no wonder that Ripple's technology is being implemented in several banks to send money across the border in a matter of seconds. If payment had to be made to another country, it would take a minimum of 3 to 5 days when using the SWIFT method, while PayPal usually takes 2 working days. Yeah, that means, if you try to transfer over the weekend, you got to wait two business days. Cryptocurrencies have the advantage of moving in a matter of seconds to the most popular, which is Bitcoin, transferring in a few hours. Lightning Network technology is bound to scale up Bitcoin to the speed it once was. The transaction costs are also far cheaper when using cryptocurrencies to move funds, with SWIFT and other banking methods taking quite a percentage for transferring. Logistics and supply chain. With an ever-increasing population, tracking goods has become difficult for most of the individuals and companies. As a result, blockchain supply chain innovations deliver in bringing a transparent system with several advantages. With a transparent system, tracking of the item can be done in real time, which helps buyers know where the items are currently, and the supplier has ensured that the good is on the way safely. It helps build a better trust system without the need for continuous customer care responses, which may take time to provide feedback or answer. The credibility of the supplier is improved drastically, along with better confidence from the buyer. Blockchain even lets high-valued goods such as diamonds be tracked to ensure safety and no fraud takes place. The number of intermediaries in a supply chain is beyond countable, and hence, with a more transparent and decentralized system, middlemen are cut out. Thus, loads of costs are reduced, which impacts in creating a higher demand from the buyers. Kerala, a beautiful Indian state, is exploring blockchain technology for the supply of fast-spoiling items such as milk, fish, and vegetables. With the help of blockchain, they can be monitored carefully when being transported from the beginning stage of procuring to the final stage of selling in retail shops. That is huge. That's groundbreaking right there. That's revolutionary, especially in third world countries. Healthcare. Blockchain is rapidly changing the way the incompetent healthcare industry operates. A clinic or hospital has many records which are not being stored using blockchain. Thus, security is maintained in keeping these private medical files safe for the future. One example is MedRec, which helps maintain medical records throughout all healthcare providers. Patients keep moving from one healthcare provider to another, and thus data is saved through blockchain to be accessed by any of the healthcare providers. Blockchain integrated with artificial intelligence has also helped ensure that people who don't have medical access can speak to a doctor and gain some insights on their health concerns. Docademic, for example, helps connect patients to doctors. There is even a token called MTC, which powers Docademic's payment process for prepayments in case of emergencies. Another great idea was proposed by Linea's founder, Diego Espinoza, who is developing a blockchain-centered system where health data is collected and shared with authorized people. Individual health records will be allowed to be viewed only by a select few, depending on what documents they are. The 5 use cases above showcase the variety of industries blockchain is improving. Blockchain technology is proving to be one of the most useful innovations. Now, I heard about that, Kathy. Timmy Coin. What exchange can you buy Timmy Coin on? Here's one thing I want to give you guys. I want to give you guys a round of applause and a pat on your back. Pat yourself on the back. The reason why I do Facebook Lives is because I'm learning. And I'm keeping myself up to date and accountable. If it wasn't for the Facebook Lives, I'm a little bit lazy, and I wouldn't read all these articles on my own. All right? So, which exchange? Is it going to be on Binance, Kathy? Is there any other way to get that coin before it hits the exchange? Or is that one has been all done? The pre-sale of it. But one thing I know how I learn. I'm a little lazy. And so I do these Facebook Lives so that I can share and read myself, and I'm learning myself. But those of you who are listening, by osmosis, just by listening and by delving into this. Yeah, I figured hit BTC. And then once it gets on the buy, yeah, so if it gets hit BTC, buy up a whole lot, and then it gets onto the bigger exchanges, Bittrex or Poloniex or Binance, then it's going to shoot up sky high. So the moment it hits, hey Kathy, let me know the moment it hit BTC if you hear it before I do. They could buy up a whole lot and then sit on it and wait for it to hit Binance and Bittrex and up BTC, the ones in Asia. But I want to give you guys credit. See what you're doing by listening. All of this is being eternalized to you. It's like reading a book and you're learning. And you may not even realize you're learning, but you're learning. And the more and more you are delving into this and immersing yourself into this, you are learning. So keep it up. But when you learn stuff, you got to put it into practice. So start having conversations with other people and doing other reading on your own. And you're going to find this knowledge that's hitting your brain right now is going to start coming out. And you'll surprise yourself. And then you're going to start to have more confidence because you now know this stuff. You're learning at the same time as I am learning. So we are on the same level here. I don't know any more than you do as I'm reading these articles, but I'm eternalizing it, and then I spit it right back out when I'm talking to other people. So congratulations for those of you guys that are delving into this, because you cannot unlearn what you learn. And in the next couple of years, when the entire world's focus is just on this, all of this knowledge and information that you are gathering up right now is going to be a lifesaver. It's going to be your secret weapon, your force. And everybody else that's just coming on board is clueless. And they're going to come to you as the expert. So keep it up and practice it. I might even start, some of you that I know, start not really a quiz, but I'm going to have conversations with you and I'm going to ask you questions. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. Just to see and give you an opportunity to spit this stuff back out. Or I'm going to say, do a Facebook Live on this topic or this subject. You don't have to have the camera on, but you're going to speak on it. Mr. Ron Ross, Lashana, Mahfouz, Jason, Bethany, Darnell, those of you that's constantly on my lives and I know you're learning this stuff, Benita, Prelvis, you need to start talking about this stuff. And that solidifies your learning process. All right, enough of that. What's happening today? In 3 hours, 2.5 hours from now, Dr. Michael Smith Sr. will be doing a live cryptogenics presentation. Following that, at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing the next Facebook Live, the Crypto Talk, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. And then following that, at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll be doing a cryptogenics presentation. So we've got a full day ahead of us. Full day of learning. And even though we do 2 crypto talks, we're still not capturing everything. I would need to be doing 3 to 5 of them a day because the news is changing every single day. Not a day goes by where there's not content to talk about. I'm still sitting on let's see, this article. Why the cryptosphere is losing its mind over this 18-digit number. Oh yeah, the nerds out there are going freaking ape bonkers on this. I'll read that tonight. Then we've got North Carolina banking bill passes ads, virtual currency license requirements. So I'll read that one tonight. And there was another one that I accidentally deleted, so I got to go back and find that again. But I'm going to make a lesson out of this topic, the top 5 blockchain use cases you need to know. So I'll make a lesson out of that for Cryptogenics members only. All right, with that, you guys have a great day. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.
Cryptogenics.